What's up guys? Sebastian Siren here. Thanks for coming to my channel. This video is for any aspiring DJ or musician. It could apply to any kind of musician who is really in that process of, I'm not sure what to do next. Am I really a musician? Am I really doing this? Can I call myself a musician? Can I call myself a DJ? And just someone who's kind of thinking about like, how can I make this kind of how can I create momentum? How can I get this going? So if that sounds like you, if that resonates with you, the next 15 minutes or so will hopefully inspire you like they did for me. So let's get into it. So number one thing, I think genuinely the biggest thing that you need to decide and really kind of think on and meditate on if you're into it is really believing that you're a musician. You don't need to be actively creating constantly to call yourself an artist or a DJ or a musician. It really starts with the decision of believing I'm a DJ, I'm a musician, I'm a guitarist, I'm a singer, whatever it is. It could apply to any form of creativity. So for me, it was really just one day deciding like, I'm doing this, I am a DJ, and it doesn't mean you have to be headlining big venues yet. That's not a qualifier. To call yourself an artist just means that you are creating. And it's okay right now if you're not even creating. It took me 3 years, genuinely 3 years, to get to where I am now, to where I'm creating weekly, multiple times a week. Whereas 3 years ago, this was all a thought in my head. It was actually a thought in my head 10 years ago, but really started actively beginning the thought process of truly manifesting it into the reality. Something that helped me was to decide on a name. I think when you decide on a name for yourself as a DJ, it makes it real, like it makes it tangible. And I think what it's really cool and was helpful for me is that it helped me create and be able to visualize like who he is, what's his style, what's the kind of music that he's into. And of course it's you. At the end of the day though, the way I see it is it's a version of you that lives within you already. So having a name and deciding on that name and committing to that name, to me, it gives it life. It breathes life into it, which it was one of the biggest things that I did. And then number two, the next thing that you do, and by the way, you don't have to rush into a name. I think it took me like 1.5 years to decide on that name that I truly fell in love with. And it was a process. It really was a process, which I'll cover in a different video because I truly believe it's a really wonderful exercise that I was guided through by a life and career coach. But that's for another day. But once you commit to a name and you feel it in your soul that you embody that name, and that's your artist name, the next step, once you're committed to that name, is getting all the socials that you want from it. I would recommend getting anything that's current and popular. So for sure an Instagram, just snag the X or Twitter name. Don't use it, but whatever. Snag the Twitch handle and definitely snag the YouTube channel. But for me, I'm super active on Instagram. It's super important to get that. And then just get anything that's maybe up and coming. Like reserve your domains, like even buy your .com. A lot of the times your .coms will be really affordable. It'll be like 10 bucks a year. And just take it, like reserve it. So what you're doing is you're genuinely telling yourself and the universe that you are this and you have claimed this for yourself because it's real. That's the biggest step, is saying to yourself, this is real, because it is. You don't have to pretend or think you're faking it, because taking these small steps makes it more and more real to you, which is the most important part. So get the socials after you start the name. The next big thing for me was taking formal classes. I know it's not for everyone, and I know not everyone has the resources, but I am a big believer in when you commit to it, you commit to it. So like, for example, I'm going to be upgrading to professional decks pretty soon, and I am investing every single month as much as I can, and it's taking a long time, but to be able to upgrade. And if you commit to it, you will commit to it. So I promise you. That's another thing you have to do. Just like the name, just like being an artist, just like being a creative, you have to commit to it. It's super important. So I spent a lot of time on YouTube. I'm a huge YouTuber. I fucking love YouTube, and it is such a resource of information, entertainment, fun, everything. It's just access to the world, which I love in like visual real life format. But I didn't find anything that was helping me progress. I was tinkering around during quarantine. I was just hitting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. I talked to a handful of people that I met throughout my journey in LA, in Los Angeles, and in San Diego and Orange County. They were all really generous with their time to help me, but it wasn't formal education, which for me, the way I learn is through experience and through very structured learning. Because I feel, and you can probably relate to this, when you're at certain parts where you're trying to either, maybe it's sourcing music, maybe it's like learning certain transitions, or maybe it's like just explaining technicalities. A lot of YouTubers, and I'm no shade, but a lot of YouTubers leave out like really critical steps, and I don't think it's intentional, because trust, in this video, this is what I wrote down, this is what I'm talking from experience, but YouTube isn't necessarily always a formal experience. There's some videos that are phenomenal, but I think when things are free, you get what you pay for, and they are valuable, but to a limit. And so for me, I decided I'm going to sign up for this class. I'm going to commit to it. It was 3 months long. It was twice a week from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. at night. And it was intense. It wasn't insanely expensive, but it wasn't like cheap. So it was about, I think it was like $2K, but that's just the class. So again, it's basically a college class, like legit. Like I committed to like a college course again, and I'm done with that shit. Like, and I committed to it, and I invested in it. And thankfully I used Affirm. So it was about like $100 a month or so. Maybe it was 1,500, because it was $100 a month basically for a year. So $1,200 maybe, and then plus like whatever like fees they added. And then I had to get equipment. I had to upgrade a variety of computer things. I had to get headphones. And I didn't get anything expensive. I got things that are middle of the road. I got like really good headphones, but nothing like fancy. But I didn't want to get like cheap headphones. So, but again, I'm really inspired by do what you can with what you have right now, because there's so many artists who begin with nothing, and that's all it takes, is because you meet your creativity with where you are, and then you upgrade as you go. That's a whole other video, by the way. So for me, taking the class was a massive jumpstart. Within like 3 weeks of the class, I had learned more in 3 weeks, within like 3 or 4 classes than I had an entire like 2 years of pretending, or not pretending, but like trying to do it on my own. There is a lot behind admitting that you need help and that you're looking to people who know what they're doing to share their wisdom and skill and craft with you. There is nothing wrong with that, and I know everyone's different, but not everyone is a savant. Not everyone can self-teach. You do learn through experience, of course, but for me, I was like, I would rather have an intensive course, because I'm feeling frustrated. I felt like I hit a wall. And so if you're feeling like that, I would highly recommend in the city that you live in, or finding online courses, but I highly recommend in-person classes. I cannot stress this enough, because what you are going to be doing is in person, and they're able to give you real-time feedback. And the class that I took was 4 students maximum. It was in Brooklyn, and I have a full-time like corporate job, and I would go to work. I would leave work and then go to class. I had 2 laptops in my bag, because I took my work one and my professional one, both chargers. I was literally lugging like 25 pounds of equipment, and then I would come home, and then I would still have to work sometimes, and then I would wake up early to practice. And so basically committing to practicing and taking the class seriously jump-started my DJ career. I also stopped drinking January, February, March, and then I ended up going to April, because I felt like continuing it, because for me, I love to party, I love to drink, and I've trained my brain to, it's very social to me. It's very fun oriented. So when I drink, my my brain just kind of shuts off in a way that it's like I'm not going to be conducive to like working and studying and bettering my craft. So I chose a really big commitment to not drink for 3 months, which turned into 4, which helped me commit to practicing, studying, staying up late, sacrificing sleep, so that I could practice, because the class doesn't care what you get out of it. They don't care. They love that you're there. They love your money, but at the end of the day, like what you put into it, you will get out of it. And so taking a formal class was the second thing that was huge for me. The third, community. So depending on where you live, there may not be a large community, but there will be a community. Electronic music is huge globally, no matter where you live. You just have to look for it. Look for it on social, on Insta, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Reddit is huge, but find the community, talk about it, find it out. There's open deck nights, which is where it's similar to open mic night, but open deck night. And it's usually all DJs, usually all like beginner to intermediate people who like have yet to book gigs and things like that, or who are just trying to connect. And it's great for socializing, for community, for so many things. And it connects you to other people who are doing what you're doing. And so again, this whole beginning experience is about making it feel real to you, and not just feeling, but being real. You are investing your energy into this new venture of yours, and it's creating a new reality for you. So it's huge, and it's really important that you stick with it and connect with other people who are doing the same thing. And then through that, you're then going to start connecting and meeting with different people who are dreaming of the same thing as you are, and who have the same creative energy as you are. So that, to me, community is a huge thing. So I started going to weekly open deck nights, which leads me into my 5th, is talking about it. Now when I introduce myself, I say I am a DJ, period. Practice saying that in the mirror hundreds and hundreds of times a day. I'm an artist, I'm a musician, I'm a DJ. I like to say I'm a DJ and a musician. Sometimes I say I'm a musician because this is just the beginning for me. Like, there's so much behind this project. Like, music at the high level is my love, right? So talking it into existence, because through talking about it, when people hear it and you're vibing with them, whether they be new people or friends or acquaintances or whoever, they're then oftentimes going to connect you to other people they think you should meet, whether they be fellow musicians, DJs, photographers, other creators who are doing things. And so if you talk about it, it then will bring to you more things. So I could not more highly recommend that you talking about what you're doing and not being too shy about it. But I will caveat it with this big caveat. I did not talk about my DJ stuff for 2 years, even with my best, closest friends that I've known for my entire life. I waited until I finished my class and had prepared my first live set and had flyers and dates for my first live club performance. So for me, what I did was I talked to myself, which leads me to my next plan, which is visualization. When I decided on my name, I got my social media, I got my social handles. And what I started to do is I had my Instagram private, and I started posting. It's 2024, May 2024, 432. I started posting 3 years ago, maybe even 4. I started posting on Instagram as if I were doing it, as if I was Siren. And I kicked it off with a post after reflecting at the beach. I used to live in Southern California, and I was kind of closing out my Southern California life where I grew up and transitioning to New York. So it was a very reflective time. It was a huge time of change. And I remember just kind of meditating and staring off at the ocean, sitting on a rock, a big rock in Laguna Beach, one of my favorite places, honestly, in the US. And it's so beautiful. And I just kind of opened my eyes and I just decided to take a selfie. And you can find it on my Instagram. It's all the way at the bottom. And I just said in French, I see grand things. There's more behind why it was in French. For me, there's other things with that, but a different part of my life. But for me, I started posting things like I posted myself in Times Square writing a caption. So grateful for this experience, my first Times Square billboard, things like that. And so when it came time to launch my DJ brand, my DJ persona, my DJ reality, my new career, my new self, truly, my new chapter in life, I thought about making all of them. I thought of archiving all of the posts, but what I decided instead was I'm gonna just keep this public because it might be inspirational to someone else, truly. And for me, I would still like to see it there because it is part of the journey. I posted not often, but enough for like 2 years that it felt so real when I made it public. And people then still are going back super far, and I love them for doing that. For those that are curious, and they like it, and I think a big part of my journey also is inspiring other creatives and people who are not currently acting on it, but are innately creative in their own right, who see that it's possible for them to pursue their dreams and to make it happen and to make it a thing. So the last point that I'll end on is believing in being. It sounds really corny and super cliche, but the most important thing you can do in this entire journey, sorry, my nose is itchy. The biggest thing that you can do is believe in yourself and know that what you're trying to do is real and it's valid and it is creative and it is artistry and you are a DJ and you are a musician. You don't have to be on, a professional with 50 million views on YouTube to call yourself a musician. You can have 0 views and be a musician, a DJ. You are a DJ, and what you can do is then commit to it, which is my final point. It's not even on my list, but it's my final point, is commit to what you want to do, but always maintain balance, always. Do not burn yourself out. Yes, you can do this 7 days a week in a year, and you probably will blow up in that point, but for most of us, it's not a reality. And I had to come to terms with myself. Like, I work in advertising and I'm really grateful for the career that I have. I do love it and enjoy it, but I can't commit 7 days a week to, I guess I could, but what I realize is I'm going to burn myself out on both ends. And so instead, I'm focusing on having fun and enjoying myself and taking both seriously and calling myself both, because I am both. I'm not just one thing, but filling your craft and your art with your passion and your dedication and truly embodying it and saying to yourself and to others, I'm a DJ. Nice to meet you. What's your DJ name? Siren. What's your handle? Siren.sounds. Siren sounds. Sebastian Siren. Here, share with some friends. I'd love for you to come to my show. I'd love for you to attend my Twitch. Please follow me on Instagram. It would really mean a lot to me. Like, talking about it makes it real, and eventually it catches on. I promise you. So that's what I have for you today. If this resonated with you, please like the video. It means a lot to me, and please subscribe to the video. My channel is going to be growing more with content like this to share my journey as truly something that I feel I want to give back for. I want to inspire other people to take the leap and just feel inspired to follow their dreams and their passions and their greatest excitement and the things that they love that maybe they may perhaps abandoned a while ago, or maybe they're new things that you haven't ever felt inspired by before. But follow me in the call and maybe giving you some tips from my experience on how to do that. So with much love, Children of the Night, what music they make. Love you guys so much.